Yo, what's up, you guys? It is Thursday, December 18th, and we're back with another TnS Daily review. So, jumping right into things, I do have my indicator set on the 1 minute preset, display with setups, and session filter disabled, and my mouse here at 9:29. And you can see we had a couple pre-market setups. We have a long setup here right at 9:30, as you can see, and it does get stopped out. If I fast forward, you can see it gets stopped. So, it's going to be trade number one as a loss. Okay, now moving on. We had a long setup down here, also gets stopped out, so it's going to be trade number two as a loss. Okay, and then we came back for that short, and the short actually ended up winning. So it's going to be trade number three as a win for 56 points. Okay, and you can see we have a new long setup there, waiting to get tagged in. Looks like it gets stopped when we come back for it, so it's going to be trade number four as a loss. Okay, now moving on, we have another long setup, and actually, let me back up to about right here. We have this long setup gets tagged in, and it does get TP, so it's going to be trade number five as a win for trade number five is a win for 27 points. And we had two short setups here. The lowest setup here gets stopped out right here. It's a stop loss there. It gets stopped out, so it's going to be trade number six as a loss. And then we have this short setup here with two entries. Hasn't gotten stopped out yet, but let's see what happens. Okay, looks like the short gets TP, so let's see for how many points that was. Using the absolute lowest entry here, it would be 34, 75 here. It's going to be 26 points. So it's going to be trade number seven as a win for 26 points. Okay, and then we have the long setup there that gets stopped out as the short gets TP. So it's going to be trade number eight as a loss. Okay, now moving on. You can see the short, I meant the long got stopped out there. And we have a short here that gets stopped out. So it's going to be trade number nine as a loss. Okay, now moving on. Left a couple of shorts up there to be tapped into once we come back, but this long setup here looks like we have two entries. One of them gets stopped out. Let's see the second one. It looks like it gets TP. So backing up to about right here. Let's see. This will be counted as two trades since the lower entry won. So the first entry will be trade number 10 as a loss. And then the second entry will be trade number 11 as a win for 53 points, represented by the second entry. And then we have a short setup here that looks like it gets stopped out, the first one. So it's going to be trade number 12 as a loss. Then we have another short setup here. Looks like that one gets stopped out. It's going to be trade number 13 as a loss. Then we have this last one here. The stop loss is up here. Let's see what happens. Okay, that one actually ended up winning. So the very last short is the one that actually ended up winning. So let's see. Looks like it's for 25 points here. So it's going to be trade number 14 as a win for 25 points. And then we have a long setup here that also gets TP. It's going to be trade number 15 as a win for 22 points. Okay. And we still have one last short setup for when we come up to it. Looks like it does get TP there. Let's see for how many points. Looks like for 14. So it's going to be trade number 16 as a win for 14 points. Okay. Now moving on. We come back for one of these long setups here. Gets stopped out instantly. So it's going to be trade number 17 as a loss. And then we have this long setup here that does get tagged in to the absolute tick there, you can see. And let's see how many points the TP is. Looks like it's let me double check the entry here. 54. Yeah, so it's going to be trade number 18 as a win for 25 points. Once again, the TP is right there. This one you could have held a runner. And then we have a short setup here that also gets tagged in and does get TP. So it's going to be trade number 19 as a win for 22 points. You can see it gets TP there. And then in the process of that short winning, the long gets stopped out here, this middle one. Now, truly, you would have been in the short first, so you wouldn't have to worry about this long losing, but it does lose. It's going to be trade number 20 as a loss. Okay, now moving on. We have two short setups here that look like they both get stopped out. Okay, so it's going to be trades number 21 and 22 as both losses. Once again, these two shorts both end up losing, so it's 21 and 22 as both losses. And then, pretty sure those are the last two setups of the day. It is about 3, there it is, like 4 o'clock here. Yep, so this will be the 4 o'clock candle, which means trade number 22 is going to be our last one. So let's go ahead and tally it all up and get our final results. All right, so these will be our final results for the 1 minute TNS. And today it walked away with minus 2.1 R, minus 54 points, and that's with 9 wins and 13 losses today. So yeah, guys, a pretty interesting day. Had a lot of setups today, but it ultimately walked away red. Too many losses in a row, whereas the wins weren't for that many points. But yeah, guys, gonna wrap it up for this daily review. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.